Hi, I'm Beck and welcome to what I'm currently reading, what I'm reading right now, and I do a check-in once and then twice at the end of a week to let you know what I've been reading, what I've picked up, continued, DNF'd. So without further ado, I will jump right into what I'm currently reading, and that is the Farseer trilogy, so Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the third book in the trilogy and I am absolutely loving my reread. I am 269 pages into it, which is nice, but I also am realizing that I need to put this down soon because the beginning of the week, Monday, starts on the last day of March. And I have quite grand plans for my April TBR, so I'll link that if you haven't seen it yet because I have ambitious books on there, at least for me, because I don't read as much physically as I probably could, so I've got to push myself this month. What these ambitious plans essentially mean is that even though I am absolutely adoring Robin Hobb and I'm about 30% into it, I'm probably going to pause that at least for 2 weeks because I plan to read a different series, and the fourth book in that series is coming out at the end of April, so I'll probably pick that up in around about May, but during April, I want to try and make headway on catching up on this series, and that is the Nevermore series. So I've got Wondersmith here, and I've also got Hollowpox, and this is book 2 and book 3 in that series. Both of them are middle grade, so technically they shouldn't take me too long, but I also know that they are over 500 pages each, are they? Well, like 460 pages, but technically that may as well be 500. So this one focuses on protagonist Morrigan Crow. She is a cursed child, and on her 11th birthday, which coincides with Eventide, she is going to be killed. That's just what happens to cursed children. However, just before the clock can strike, she gets visited, or her family and her get visited by Jupiter North, and he is a magician from the land of Nevermore, and he spirits her away into the land of Nevermore, away from the wild hunt into safety, because Nevermore is the 5th free state, and Morrigan has grown up in one of the 4 states of the Republic. So Nevermore is a protected state. That's why he could spirit her away to safety here. And he's also got an ulterior motive. So he wants Morrigan to be his candidate to become a Wanderer Society member. And to do that, Morrigan has to enact several different trials and win amongst all of the other candidates, which are like 300 candidates. So the first book is very much following the trials of Morrigan Crow, and then now we are further along with the different friendships and enemies she's made. So I am looking forward to delving more into those and the magic system. Technically this is a reread for me, but I have forgotten so much about this book. So I'm looking forward to my reread because I read them probably like 5 years ago now. Maybe that's being generous, but a while. So hopefully by the end of this video, I'll be almost finished this book. However, I am going away for work during this week. So will I read while I'm there? I don't see the likelihood. That worries me. In addition to all of that that's happening, I'm listening to an audiobook, and that is The Silverblood Promise, which is an adult high fantasy, and this is like my new hopeful obsession because I've not been this enamored by an adult fantasy book that is new to me in quite a while. It's why I've done a couple of rereads lately because I've just not found new favorites. But this one has the potential because it already feels like a 4-star, which could grow. And it follows Lucan. He is a card sharp. He's an ex-noble, and he used to be at this academy. However, on the falling out of a duel, when he defended himself against an opponent, but the opponent attacked him while he had his back turned. So he defended himself, killed the opponent, and then the academy kicked him out. His father disowned him. Now it's been 7 years down the line, and Lucan is in a gambling den, and he's walking out one night where he realizes that he's being followed. So to get away from this pursuer, he goes down a side alley to try and lose them, but then runs into a bunch of thugs and has to physically defend himself. So already we've got his tone, his description, the fact that he can bluff, and also the fact that he can stand up for himself and defend himself in a fight. And then the person that was following him is actually an old mentor of his. So she goes back to his rooms and they have this discussion over a drink, and she reveals that his father has been murdered, and the note on his body had his name, a city's name, and then something else that neither of them can decipher. So now Lucan has been accepting of this quest, I guess, and he goes, I need to solve my father's murder and conspiracy behind it, and reconnect with some of the nobles and wonder why this city is even on his radar when he never spoke about it before. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this fantasy book turns up. Again, I'm only 12% into it, so I imagine by the time this week carries on, I will have listened to more of the audiobook because I am excited to listen to this book. It's not a book that I just go, oh, okay, I guess I need to fit an audio somewhere into my day. This one, I know that I've got a commute to and from work for a couple of days because of my work trip, so that'll be easy to squeeze in. Plus, I'm loving the book, so I will find any excuse to finish it off at the end of the week once all of those work commitments are done. So that is currently what I'm reading, pausing Assassin's Quest, unfortunately, reading Wondersmith, and then also listening to The Silver Blood Promise. And I don't know what audiobook will go after The Silver Blood Promise because I've already DNF'd one audiobook that was on my April to be read video, and that was City of Gods and Monsters because it was god awful. I had such high hopes for that book because it seemed like a supernatural fantasy, but I just hated it. So I'll talk about that in my April wrap up. So unfortunately, I started that at the end of March, but it's going into my April wrap up. So shh, secrets. And Future Beck will share an update on my reading in the later half of the week. Well, it is now time to update you because it is the end or a little bit past the end of a week. And I wanted to report back on my reading, which really tanked during my work trip like I expected. I didn't read anything for a couple of days. So I've tried to then get back and catch up on a little bit of reading because I ended up finishing, thankfully, an audiobook, and that was The Silver Blood Promise, which was so much fun. I gave it 4 stars. I love the tone of it. I love the pace of it. The action kept on flowing. I liked that it set up Lucan and a thief named Flea, and they became almost their own little band of misfits, like loyal to each other, that were fighting against whatever conspiracies and life-threatening things were going on. There was also an addition of a thief as well, someone else, and I really like their trio dynamic. It's really fun. It also just doesn't include romance as a subplot or a driving force, and I found that quite refreshing actually. It might develop into that later with that extra thief I mentioned, but I don't really mind if it does because they've got a great foundation. It might go enemies to lovers, we'll see what happens, but I'm just enjoying the ride for now, and the second book comes out in October 2025. So at least I have something to look forward to at the end of the year in terms of new releases. Really enjoyed The Silver Blood Promise. I'm so happy that worked out. And then I said at the beginning of this video that I wanted to finish Wondersmith by the end of the week. And that's because I wanted to get my reread in before the new release comes out, book 4. And I am 200 pages into this book, and I'm trying to read at least 100 pages a day to really catch up. And it's going semi-well. I haven't read anything today and it's the end of a day. So I could go back on that statement, but I'm mostly reading this so that I've got time to then reread Hollowpox as well during April before the last book comes out. And I am enjoying these, but I'm just not loving them as much as my first read through several years ago. And that might just be because my reading tastes have naturally changed. And obviously I'm older now and these are set for a younger target audience. And obviously that's not me, but I still really enjoy the style of it. I like the storytelling, the plot reveals. I like the magic and the whimsy of it too. And I like seeing Morrigan becoming her own and recognizing different patterns about herself and going, I don't want to be the same person that I was essentially just before book 1 started. So I really like the way that this is going. I like her friends as well. And this series has so much potential and it's really pulling off the magic of it, which I really enjoy. That said, I am really missing Robin Hobb. I want to go back and do my reread because I've got I'm not even halfway through Robin Hobb, the 3rd book. So that's unfortunate that I had to pause it to read this and then Hollowpox. So that's part of the reason that I'm trying to, light a fire under me and get me going on this series so that I can then go back to Robin Hobb, because I am just in so much of a mood for adult fantasy right now and this is not really hitting the right mood. But when I pick it up, I'm enjoying it. So it's just about bridging that gap and going, don't be lazy, Beck. Just read the book and then it will be done. So that's really what my future reading is going to look like. Read the book and then go back to Robin Hobb, which brings me to the end of the video. So if you're currently reading anything or if you're putting something off and you think you should be reading it, let me know down below in the comments. I would love to know, but like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you again so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.